WCTC. This is the show where Jersey matters. From politics to entertainment, from social issues to lifestyles, from newsmakers to pop culture. If it's Jersey, it's on Jersey Central with Bert Barron.
What is it about the Garden State that makes it such fertile ground for high and lowbrow entertainment?
On the new Talk Radio 1450 WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey.
It is 8:09, hour number 3 of Jersey Central on a Wednesday morning on the new Talk Radio WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey. Well, I think everybody kind of knew that the Secret Service, it hasn't been a good stretch for them. There's people running through the lawn, running through the White House, but it gets a lot more interesting than that. My guest right now on the Raritan Bay Medical Center Jersey Newsmaker Hotline is an award-winning investigative reporter who has recently written a book called The First Family Detail, Secret Service Agents Reveal the Hidden Lives of the President. Let's welcome to the Raritan Bay Medical Center Jersey Newsmaker Hotline, Ron Kessler, who joins us today. Hey, Ron, good morning. It is Bert Barron. Welcome to WCTC. How are you?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me.
Just the Joe Biden stories alone are enough to write a book about, but you really go a lot farther than that. Let's start with Joe Biden. He's a nice, easy target. Why don't we start there? What's this thing with Joe Biden, and what exactly is the nuclear football that he doesn't want to travel with? What's that all about?
The nuclear football contains codes that allow the president or the vice president, if the president is incapacitated or has been killed, to launch a nuclear retaliatory strike in the event that we're attacked by another country. And Joe Biden, when he goes back to Wilmington, to his home, which he does several times a week, by the way, all at our expense, has cost about $1 million in Air Force Two costs since he took office, insists that when he's traveling in Wilmington and Delaware, that the military aid with the nuclear football remain at least a mile behind in his motorcade. He doesn't want to look like he has a big, long motorcade. He likes to project the image of, regular Joe. He's a man of the people. So he tells the military aid to stay a mile behind. Well, of course, that means that the military aid with the nuclear football would be useless in the event of an attack. There would not be time, even if there were not traffic, for him to catch up with Biden in order to launch a strike. So that is the most irresponsible act I can possibly imagine. Yep. Beyond that, Biden likes to skinny dip both at his pool at the vice president's residence in Washington and at his home in Wilmington, which offends female Secret Service agents. They signed up to take a bullet, but not to see Joe Biden naked.
I was going to say maybe slightly more disturbing than the president not having the nuclear football in his possession is seeing Joe Biden naked swimming and under the watchful eye of the Secret Service. That they didn't tell you about that part of the job, did they?
Yeah.
For anybody
on the other hand, Bill Clinton has a busty blonde mistress who is quite attractive, and Secret Service agents say she's close to a 10. She shows up at the Chappaqua home as soon as Hillary leaves. She'll stay as long as a week with Bill.
Wow.
And one day she was coming in with cookies for agents because, unlike Hillary, she's very nice to the agents. She offered these cookies through the window of her SUV to the agent at the gate, and she was wearing a low-cut tank top, and the agent noticed that her breasts were enhanced. So we have every single detail in this book, The First Family Detail.
This is going on currently, or this is in the recent past?
This is current. It's been
going on right
now.
Years.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Wow. This book sounds terrific. Again, it's called The First Family Detail, Secret Service Agents Reveal the Hidden Lives of the Presidents. And my guest is the author, Ronald Kessler, who is an award-winning investigative reporter. Just amazing things in here. Let's talk about our current president. I know he likes to, kind of run with the pop stars and the rock stars and these famous actors and all these other, pop culture sort of people. What kind of impact does that have on the Secret Service? They got to be pulling their hair out just trying to maintain a high level of security for the president and his family just because of the people they like to hang around.
Well, it's more a matter of Secret Service management cutting corners and not providing enough agents, not providing enough intrusion devices, not even keeping alarms up to date. You saw that with the intrusion by Gonzalez at the White House last September. It's just a mess, and it's not going to get any better now that Obama has appointed Joe Clancy as director. He's a former agent and part of the same culture of covering up and dismissing problems, retaliating against agents who do report problems. Um, the Obamas treat their agents very well with respect, but agents are dismayed to overhear Obama or Michelle urge her husband to be more aggressive in attacking Republicans and siding with blacks in racial controversies. But the person who really takes the cake when it comes to hypocrisy
Mm-hmm.
about treating agents well or not is Hillary Clinton, because on the one hand, she claims to be someone who's going to be a champion of the little people. She's going to help the middle class. She's compassionate. But the reality is that behind the scenes, she is so nasty to Secret Service agents and others who are less powerful than she is that being assigned to her detail is considered a form of punishment. And that tells you a whole lot about her character.
Wow. And part of the perks, if I'm correct about it, Ron, and by the way, your New York Times best-selling author, Ron Kessler, is my guest that we're talking about his new book, The First Family Detail. Part of the perks is you receive security from the Secret Service for the rest of your life. Is that still in place for
That
former
is,
presidents?
yeah. It was briefly revoked, and then it was put in place again by Obama. And so both the former president and his or her spouse receive lifetime protection unless the spouse divorces, in which case there's no longer protection for the spouse.
Could you
The,
imagine Hillary Clinton winning, a term or two, and then, when her presidency is over, someone being assigned to her for life? Someone's gonna
yeah,
every
exactly.
day with Hillary Clinton.
Oh,
Wow,
it's just horrendous.
wow.
And there's been this phony debate about, well, because she's wealthy, she must be disconnected from from the common man. That was such a bogus point, because first of all, people like Bill Gates and Andrew Carnegie help people. They're wealthy and they help them. And secondly, it's pure speculation. Whereas in this book, I have a whole chapter on how the reality is that she actually treats those people with contempt.
Mm. And it's a great read. It definitely is. And this kind of whole thing got started, Ron. You broke the story about the Secret Service agents who were supposed to be protecting the president on a visit to Colombia, and they turned it into a party with alcohol and prostitutes. And that's when really the downfall of the Secret Service and their reputation really kind of started, thanks to a story that you broke, right?
Yeah, that's right. The Secret Service is very secret. I've written books on the FBI, the CIA, and the Secret Service is even more secretive than those two agencies. But President Obama should have replaced the director even before that, when the Salahis went prancing into the state dinner, the party crashers. But he kept defending the Secret Service, saying that the director, he has faith in the director, and it's really a matter of him being in denial about the real threats to his own life. Here, we're not talking about politics. We're talking about the reality of whether there could be an assassination, and he just seems to be oblivious to the dangers, because his own excuse me, his own four-person panel recommended appointing an outsider to head the agency, someone who could shake it up, who was not part of this culture. But instead, Obama chose Joe Clancy as the new director, and he just represents that same culture.
I have got to read this book. Again, it's called The First Family Detail. Secret Service Agents Reveal the Hidden Lives of the Presidents, by author Ronald Kessler, who's my guest. And there's a passage in there that I want to urge people to pick up the book and read that involves actor Bradley Cooper, which is pretty interesting, too. Where can people get the book, Ron? What's the easiest way to get a copy of the book?
Any bookstore or online booksellers such as Amazon or Barnes and Noble.
I cannot wait to get this book, and I'm sure I'm not going to be able to put it down. Ron Kessler, author of The First Family Detail. Thanks for being my guest on Jersey Central this morning, Ron. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, take care. All right, my guest on the Raritan